Hello, folks. Welcome to Osquery office hours. It is mid-November here in Boston. It is chilly, but nice. So, sunny at least. I hope it's nice where other folks are. Let's see, announcements and highlights since last meeting. I think probably the only announcement is that we declared 520 stable. So, go us. Other people have any announcements? Okay. Agenda. Anyone want to talk about anything?
Okay, this is kind of meta, but I was at a conference and people were asking me for Osquery stickers, and I said, I'm sorry, I don't have any. So
I would fund stickers.
I've got some cool Osquery swag from back in the day on this bookshelf here.
same. Oh, nice.
I have one of
nice.
those. Let's see, what swag do I have with me in this room?
I have a hoodie, but yeah.
Somewhere I have. Do you remember the banners that Fritz made for the first QueryConf? The one with the source code in the background?
Dude, I have 3 of them like in my basement.
I have one of them kicking around my house too. I keep wanting to hang it up.
I have the one for Fleet Launcher and Osquery.
Yeah, I think I have those as well.
So funny. I just moved, so I just found them again. But we should totally create swag.
I think if you want to create swag, we can figure out how to pay for it.
I mean, I just didn't know what our official policies were, and I just heard people were talking a lot about Osquery and building things on top of it.
Where was this?
This was objected by the sea.
It's a fun conference, I hear.
Oh, nice. I almost made it to Spain this year, but I couldn't go at the last minute. I'm sorry to have missed it. It's always nice to hear people talking about Osquery, though, especially at NACFA.
Yeah,
Were
I was surprised.
what were people talking about building? Anything like novel or interesting?
Just mostly detections, and one of them was, I think, based out of Netherlands. They were a speaker, and yeah, just like statistical analysis on data collected from Osquery to, enhance their detection pipelines.
Did they talk about either maybe what they liked or things we could change or anything in that space?
No, didn't really get a chance. I showed some Osquery stuff in my presentation, but yeah, that was not the focus though of my talk.
So, Osquery sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a giant bin of stickers from everywhere, and so I have to like flip through and be like, "Where is it?" But I know it's in there. It's good branding.
I assume Collide printed those for QueryCon, but
yeah,
I think stickers are cheap, so like people want to make stickers. I don't know. It's always interesting hearing what people are building on with Osquery. Someone posted something to the Reddit group recently in the last couple of days, playing with like Osquery to Grafana for random system metrics. So seems fun. I don't have a lot of agenda today, and I gotta go in about 10 minutes. But
I'm just here for the banter.
I think we haven't seen much of an issue on Tahoe right now. Tahoe seems fine for OS query. I don't know if other people have seen anything.
I have not, but frankly, I've also been kind of absorbed into other projects, so I haven't really done much Osquery in a few months.
Yeah, there's one sort of crazy direction I keep thinking about. Like macOS more and more has been taking things out of frameworks and putting them behind XPC. And I keep wondering whether we can make ourselves an XPC
Snoop.
client.
Yeah, yeah, that's how we should eventually do if we want to incorporate like network extensions and those kinds of things. Oh yeah, this reminds me, one of the person did ask me at the conference, like, why do we not have like early start system extension? Why is it like just normal endpoint security client, and I kind of give them a history that we don't make decisions, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah. Sorry, I just lost your voice
They're
right there.
basically asking us about the packaging we have.
Yeah, like why is it not shipped as like a system extension? There's another option in endpoint security where if you ship it as a system extension, it gets early boot, and it's kind of difficult to kick the process out. Yeah, so a lot of other EDRs basically opt into that. So, the process kind of boots before all the other kind of process boots.
I don't know, Mike, do you remember?
No.
I mean, I would probably say high odds that didn't exist when OS query started.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. This would be part of
This is
the
Catalina.
move to system extensions and the
Yeah.
endpoint security framework. But I think the biggest reason is A, no one's written the code for it, and B, we don't do like OS query doesn't do malware remediation, right? It's not.
Yeah, and the code is kind of like very simple change, but we will have to move it to /applications. We cannot install it in /op/osquery.app. So if we are doing the XPC thing, we should actually properly package it and install it in /system applications or /applications.
Seems worth hearing if that's what people, if there's never been like an explicit decision not to do it, and it's like what people want, which, I mean, this is some good anecdata about that for sure, but maybe we should do like a survey or at least support the packaging mechanism.
Yeah, and this came from more of a curiosity, like, oh, all the other kind of things do this, why does Osquery do this?
I wonder if there's a piece too. I mean, from where I sit, it always seems like OS query's users are a weird bunch, right? Our primary users are vendors who might do their own thing and repackage OS query. Like Collide repackages OS query and does weird things, and Bleed repackages OS query and does weird things. And I think that like all the other EDR-ish things that have shipped OS query are also kind of, they're doing their own thing, and OS query is like a tool under the bigger umbrella. So I wonder, like, what if we made ourselves a system extension or made that as an option, would we see that utilization, right? Would Collide probably wouldn't pick that up. Would like a large customer pick it up? Like where would we see that get used? Because OS query,
admins, like lighthouse tech companies that deploy OS query themselves.
what are they deploying as a fleet manager?
Like an OS query fleet manager, like Fleet.
But if they're deploying Fleet, then they're probably deploying Orbit and not OS query.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. That's a good point, actually. Now, there are definitely like very large technology companies that use like the TLS plugins and stuff, or the file system plugin with a file that they distribute via their Jamf installation or something.
Yeah, I know they're out there, but I don't understand how. I don't know what percentage of like, would they be excited for this? Would they not be?
I think there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit. Oh, sorry, Charlotte, go for it.
Sorry, for like the bigger vendors that kind of package it inside their own kind of EDR, I don't think it matters to them because for them it's just an engine to get data out, and they have the engineering resources to package it however they want. Just from what I've seen. Sorry, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think there's some degree of like, what do people want, and how happy are they with the current packaging infrastructure, and how that integrates into their like package distribution infrastructure. But there's another degree of like, is this just kind of like where the ship is going, and like that's how we should be packaging macOS operating system software moving forward as like a matter of hygiene.
That might be. I also, the thing I always wonder is if we should drop our packaging. And I don't have a good sense because I feel like Osquery, to me as a vendor, right? Osquery's value is in the binary or the application bundle, not so much the packaging, which always feels a little bit, it never feels like it quite plays nice with whatever ecosystems you happen to have installed, right? It's very, it feels like as a project, we kind of built the obvious packaging 10 years ago and we're like, so it's not wrong of us, but I'm like, would we actually do better to not package it and just be like, look, here's the binaries, build your own packaging? Or would that be a hurdle that would push people away?
I think since we have already done the work of packaging, we should kind of continue doing it, because if we kind of revert back, then, we kind of break things. Sort of, people have certain expectations like, hey, it's code signed, it's entitled, it's notarized, all that.
So that would be equally true for the application bundle.
Yeah, sure.
Like we have some weird stuff that happens because we package for Linux. And because we have always shipped or provided a package repository, we have two weirdnesses that come from that. So the way we maintain our Linux repositories is one of the longest parts of the release process because of the technical implementation there. Every few years I look for a better one, and I haven't found one yet. And then the other thing, which is less of an issue now, is that the bandwidth that our Linux package server uses is larger than you might think. It's on the order of 2 terabytes a day, which is, it's cheaper now that we let Cloudflare run it for us, but it didn't used to be very cheap. So it's there's some trade-offs there for sure.
I think realistically, kind of as Charvel was saying, like, I don't see a future where like Osquery could stop producing the Mac package that it does now because of existing workflows. So anything like this would be probably like have to be done in addition to that. So it would be like a net new piece of work that someone would have to build, own, and like integrate into the existing package distribution infrastructure. Do you cut the packages right now, Seth? Who does that? How does that work?
Mostly me. It's all in GitHub these days. So down at the bottom of the contributing.md doc, I think I actually wrote down all the steps. It's let's say it's about 60% automated. So a human has to go and kick off all the GitHub workflows, and they take time. But all of the code signing and real work is being done by GitHub these days, by GitHub Actions. So we're in better shape than we used to be.
Come a long way.
We do ship bare binaries still, right?
Yeah, we do. We ship those possibly only through GitHub. I don't think we
GitHub. Yeah.
I don't remember if we put them on the website. But I think if we wanted to add, like I could imagine a world where we supported both being a system extension and an application bundle and just ship those. I mean, I think you just said it would have to be a part of the application bundle. So if we could just ship it as part of the application bundle, and I imagine it's just a different sort of ingress. It's like a different main function as an ingress. Okay, so I think as a project, we think it would be fine to add system extension functionality, and then it just falls into the usual, does anyone feel like writing that? If so, when? Gap that, you know, is true for all open source work.
It'd be great if there was some way to sort of quantify, to like develop a sort of relationship with the people who use Osquery, both at vendors and at individual companies, and gain some understanding of like relative weight of those user demographics, and then kind of get an understanding of what those user demographics want and use that to prioritize limited time resources. But I guess everyone that works on Osquery is kind of doing it from also like a sponsored perspective in some way. So in some ways, it's like if someone really wants application bundle support distribution on macOS, then they should dedicate some time to build that.
That's kind of been our rough stance, is roughly the project at some level, like the project as represented by those of us in the room talking about it, right, may decide that something is out of scope and not something we want, or that something sounds like a reasonable idea. And then, I don't know, we take PRs from everyone, right?
It's sort of the natural prediction market of open source software, you know, like people who are sufficiently motivated build the thing, and then that like is what happens.
Yeah, I sometimes chew on, there's like two things in my head. There's the classic XKCD cartoon, right, about all of the world rests on like one guy in Nebraska's open source piece of software. But the other one was a rant from someone many years ago. I couldn't remember who. And he was trying to, he was ranting about industry demanding more and more from open source software. Sort of industry being like, hey, you have to have stronger software development life cycles. You have to have code signing. You have to keep on top of security updates. And he was like, no, screw you all. Open source is a gift, right? I wrote this and I gave it to you, and you cannot use it. You can do whatever you want, but like, I'm not going to play by your set of software development lifecycle games.
I think what you're thinking of is, yeah, I am not a supplier.
There may have been more than one rant about this too. So I find it an interesting thing to think about, because like as a project, we try and be very welcoming to people who want to help, contribute, build, but also like most of our time is dictated by our employers who
Our suppliers.
are suppliers, right? So like when my employer says, we really like Osquery to work this way, and I'm like, that fits within the bounds of what Osquery wants, then it's going to happen. But, you know, and same for all of you, I think.
I've got no skin in the game. I'm just here for the future.
You could, like, your employer of yourself could decide you want Osquery to work differently, and you could submit a PR.
Totally.
You probably have an easier time signing the CSA for it.
Totally. No problem.
So we do, it's interesting because we do see this as a bit of a pain point sometimes, right? If you look at the endpoint security PRs that came in, right? It's like that's functionality that the project would like, but that those particular PRs weren't exactly how we wanted it. And now it's in this limbo where like that person has moved on and none of us have maybe the capacity to build that out. Although perhaps someday one of us will have a priority to do so. But I don't know if there's a theoretical answer. So I don't know if this is the kind of thing you've got any insight into, Mike. But
I mean, it really depends on like how the community wants to organize itself. And there's loads of, for example, like in the Kubernetes community, there's quite a structured, like two-dimensional framework for organizing work on different areas, and the steering committee established what they were and then approves additions or modifications to them, and then people sort of organize their discussion and iteration on those specific subtopics in that area, and the community coalesces around them proportional to their desire. And that's just one example, but again, it really depends on the amount of people in the community that are willing to push what kind of things forward. Now, that said, if there was like a scalable structure for organizing the community into these different groups and areas that we thought were where people should be spending time and focusing, then you could also do like community building efforts to try to like, there are loads of people that use Osquery that would like to participate in an open source community. Like, how do you pull them in more effectively? It's like open source demand gen. So there's lots of, and like programming languages have a lot of like independent programming languages, like Elm, I think, has had a lot of like good content about like, I'm one person, I'm not Google writing Go. Like, how do I create developer advocacy, which is basically like the marketing function, and custom engineering, which is basically like the, I don't know, more technical developer advocacy, like docs writing work. And you can map like all of these verticals of businesses to like open source communities and try to get rigorous about it if what you want is to like build the open source community. But someone's got to be like passionate about building a larger, more vital open source community for the project to drive that.
that's a great answer. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I unfortunately have to drop early today. Y'all are welcome to keep bantering, but I gotta go. Sorry.
I'm gonna go have lunch as well. Bye, everybody.
I have to drop off shortly, but Charvel or anyone else, does somebody have the Osquery logo assets? Is there a brand folder somewhere?
I don't know, but I'm sure I can figure that out, find that out.
Yeah.
Seth,
I'll ping you on the Mac admin Slack and we can sort this out. Okay,
sounds
cool.
good. Yeah.
I gotta drop
Thanks,
as well.
man.
Take care, y'all.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll
Bye.
drop through. Bye.